We Brits spend such a large proportion of our life at work, and yet a study into happiness in the workplace shows that only just over a third of us start the week with a spring in our steps. The study found that being asked to work long and unsociable hours is one of the more obvious complaints registered by unhappy workers. Others include email overload, little or no lunch breaks, putting up with the office bore or the office lech, or the endless office gossip. So how can you get your boss to implement the changes that will make your workplace a happier place?
Tips for employees looking for change would be to step back, to look at their role in depth, to look at their life, to look at what's most important to them, and then go to their manager and discuss with them what can be done within the business parameter. Work-life balance is essential, because if you don't have balance, you are only half living a life.
While the freedom to use Facebook and having TVs in the office were highlighted by some people as workplace necessities, the research reveals that the most popular desires are flexible working hours for all, giving people the time to look after families and take up interesting hobbies. Work fitness schemes. As longer hours become the norm, there isn't enough time in the day to keep fit. And the number one response, summer working hours. Over 40% said that finishing early on a Friday during the summer months would send them back to work on a Monday with a spring in their step. Manchester-based Kellogg's, who commissioned the survey, recently featured in the Sunday Times Top 100 Companies to Work For.
The research compares really favourably with the great work we're doing at Kellogg in terms of our benefits. So one of the things we introduced a few years ago was summer hours, and that provides flexible working during the sort of months of May to September. And we're finding that from a productivity perspective, that's having a really sort of powerful impact on performance. I think now in terms of sort of the younger generation, I think they're expecting far more from an employer, and I think work is not the be-all and end-all. It's about work-life balance, it's about how work fits in with what they want to do with the rest of their lives. And I think employers need to start building some of that flexibility into the employment offering.
I think the workplace of the future will need to be very different to today, and it needs to be a very personal approach to each individual within their organisation. Everybody has different needs. So it will include flexible working, it will include home working, and it will make sure that managers really ask each member of staff what it means to them and what their needs are.